Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 8th episode of Power Hour. Brennan, can you believe we've kept this up at least once per month since like February, March, something like that? How's it going? Brennan Poole is here as well. My name is Eric Easter. Brennan, what's going on? I love it. You're dressed in all black. You look very spooky over there.
Well, it's almost Halloween. It's almost Halloween month, man. And as you know, it's crazy in my house because Lindsay is like loves Halloween. I'm like turn the corner later. I'd scare myself by a ghoul or a goblin or something. And I also have my shirt literally says that was scary for any Supernatural fans out there. I'm a huge Supernatural fan.
There you go.
So you know that it's that time of year almost. It's only a few more days away. And yeah, and also 8th episode. It's our Dale Jr. episode. Don't people do that? It's
yeah, it's common to like, history of the 8 car. What's a famous athlete who wore the number 8? You know, things like that. That's a common.
Dale Jr. It's a junior episode.
Junior, yeah. Hey, but the day we're recording this, I saw a new driver, the number 8 next year, Junior Motorsports, Sammy Smith. So
that's a wild move to me. Interesting move.
Wild from the driver's perspective, you think, or the team's?
Yeah, from my perspective, I feel like it's a wild move. I mean, I don't know the inner workings of how they're feeling and how his group is feeling as far as being at Joe Gibbs Racing. But yeah, it would be very hard for me to want to leave Joe Gibbs, not saying anything negative about juniors at all. Just like he's already won a race there. He's been very competitive multiple times throughout the season. He's very young. And it seemed like he had a good thing going.
And I look at it like Toyota, and we'll get to the episode in a moment, but I look at Toyota, with, now they have a spot for John Hunter. I mean, Sammy Smith's kind of like they're next in line, it appears. I know he's really young. Maybe they're not thinking Cup for the next couple of years, but hey, 20 is the new 30. Like there are plenty of 20-year-olds looking at, Cup Series racing now. So it's, I'm just a little surprised that they'd go to Chevy, where there seems to be kind of a logjam with, Hendrick, and now Trackhouse has 4 drivers for 2 cars. Like, how the hell is that going to work?
It doesn't work. Some of those decisions don't make any sense to me either. I think, I don't know, maybe there were some panic signs, hires. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, a lot of interesting things have happened over the last month. I find it a very interesting move, and going to be very interesting to see who falls into those Joe Gibbs Xfinity car seats.
You have any insight? Have you heard any names?
I mean, you hear the rumors. I don't know. I know that Riley Herbst, I believe, wants to go back from the rumors. Whether that's true or not, I'm not sure. But I mean, I think that would be a good move for him. It seems like the Stewart-Haas venture for him has not really worked, and he was real close to winning a couple of times when he was with Gibbs. I mean, Gibbs just has really good cars, really good equipment. It's hard to not want to just be there in general, especially in the Xfinity series. They're pretty much dominant. So that would be an interesting thing to see what happens, because now that Sammy's left, now there's basically, they've only signed one person publicly. The Ryan Truex is going to run 6-8 races or whatever it is.
They're going to work something out, I'm sure. Yeah.
So there's like nothing, and I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't anyone else that has kind of popped in and out of that 19 car this year, whether it's like Trevor Bayne or you saw Joe Graff run a couple of times in there. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those guys were still there. Sure. But I don't know what they're going to do with the full-time cars. Like, who's going to drive the 20 and who's going to drive the 18?
Have you slid your resume across anyone's desk in recent months?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think naturally for me, I just have like conversations with some of the team owners that mostly approach me. I haven't done a whole lot of approaching myself in the last couple of years. I just try to I really want to be somewhere where I'm wanted. So that I think has something to do with it too, especially for younger drivers. Like, wherever you go, you want the team owner and the organization to believe in you and your abilities. And it'd be awesome to end up at one of those big teams again at some point in my career, for sure. But as we all know, it takes the sponsorship support to make it happen. So
yeah, absolutely.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I'm certainly excited to see what happens for me for next year, for sure. I have ideas, but I'm happy with how any of the stuff shakes out. It'll be all right.
I'm excited to find out as well personally. Well, we kind of just jumped into the show here, but
Mhm.
welcome to Power Hour. I'm not sure I even said the name. Welcome to Out of the Groove Power Hour, presented by Circle B Diecast. We have to shout out Circle B. You can use code OOTG for free shipping on orders over $30 at circlebdiecast.com. We really appreciate their support. Every week, Brennan and I like to show off a favorite diecast from our collections. I don't think I've shown this one off on the show before, but the playoffs are in full swing. Christopher Bell's had a couple of clutch runs. I've got a signed Christopher Bell first win from 2021 diecast right here that always looks pretty nice on my shelf. Brennan, do you have a favorite diecast that you wanted to give some screen time to this week?
Yeah, I'm going with the ever so classic
Oh, he's in the background. There it is.
Jeff Gordon. I like to put it back there. The Jeff Gordon, the Flames. Let me get a little tilt action here. But look,
The
the
wing.
wing from the wing era.
Ooh.
I look at these cars and I giggle a little bit. And then I put it right back away. But yeah, just I'm a Jeff Gordon fan. I got a lot of Jeff Gordon cars. A lot of Jeff
Nice.
Gordon cars have been gifted to me. I literally think I have every single car that he ever drove. To a certain point. Like I don't have when he filled in for Junior and ran the 88 or any
Oh,
of
that
that
would be
stuff.
crazy. Yeah, no, that would be
But
insane.
I have his Prelude to the Dream, the dirt late models.
Damn.
Like I have his old Xfinity cars. Like I have all of that. People will gift them to me over the year because the first place I ever drove was at the same place that Jeff
yeah.
Gordon ever drove for the first time, a little dirt track called Capitol outside of Sacramento, Elk Grove. Well, Rio Linda. Sorry, had to go way back in time there to pull that one out. But yeah, so I got a lot of Jeff Gordon stuff. So throw it out to him. And you are right, Christopher Bell. It is an excellent pick. They are having a pretty solid last couple of weeks on the Cup side of the playoffs. They've been quick.
Yeah, playoffs are in full swing. Texas this past weekend. Real quick, Brennan, I guess, does this count as like your home race? I know you and I both grew up in the Houston area. Fort Worth, a nice, brisk 3-4 hour drive away. but
yeah,
Texas. What'd you make of Texas?
It's a home race for me. I mean, it's always fun going there because I've raced at all the tracks that they have there. The dirt track, the little 5th mile, the road course, the legend car track in the front stretch. I've won
done
it
the
all
road
of them.
course?
Yeah, I've done the road course, like where everyone camps. I race legend cars there.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's wild. You have done it all.
I've pretty much I've ran it everything there. And I really want to win there just, to say like I've literally won at every track at Texas Motor Speedway would be awesome. But yeah, I mean, I'm well liked there, obviously, because Texas, they support their fellow Texans. And so,
You've got kind of the bull, the Longhorn horns in your logo, your brand a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's always a good time. I got a lot of supporters there for sure. And the track is, it was crazy this weekend. So, like, first time pulling out for practice, I tried to go through 3 and 4, like, wide open in the middle lane, and I just had my right tires in the black, like where the PJ1 stuff had been sprayed, and I about busted my butt, man. I mean, full blown wrecked. Somehow saved it, missed the outside wall by what felt like inches. It might have been a little bit more than that, but when your heart is in your throat and you're all the way up in the middle of the corner and all the dirt, dust flying everywhere. Yeah, it was intense. That first quarter lap, I hadn't even not even up to speed about gave me a heart attack. But it was, that part of it was gnarly. So I knew the race was going to be nuts because there was no grip. The track was, but in saying that, and not to talk too much, I'll let you say your thoughts from what you saw. I think the track is getting in a better place from it being more worn out and having less grip, where that if some of the drivers could make some smarter decisions during the race, that maybe the race would be good as the track wears out just a little bit more. I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out. I'm like playing the other side of it right now.
I hear you. No, that is something I wanted to talk about because when we last left our loyal Power Hour listeners a month ago, we joked sort of semi-joked about Texas Motor Speedway's future, but that is very much a topic of conversation. There have been rumors that the Texas date will be moved to the spring. There have been rumors for a while now that they're working on a potential configuration. Could they do another Atlanta, turn into a super speedway? Texas Motor Speedway, I'm sentimental. It was the first track I ever went to. It's the track I've gone to more than any other racetrack on the schedule just to watch races. So I love that there was a big crowd on Sunday. I love that the TV rating I just saw earlier today was actually up slightly over last year, which these days is always a welcome sight to see for NASCAR Cup races. But it's hit a sweet spot for IndyCar. We've seen some great IndyCar races there the past couple of years. Unfortunately, it's off the schedule next season for whatever reason. But I'm with you. The racing isn't terrible. I think it's just that turn 1 and 2 is really sketchy. That, as a result, produces some of the most memorable moments. Like in the Cup race, Busch wrecks out. Obviously, Larson racing Bubba at the end, spins and crashes. Like some of the most dramatic moments happen in turns 1 and 2. Heck, in your race, in the Xfinity race, I think was it Mayer wrecked on lap 1, hit the outside wall. It was almost a disaster for the whole field. But if they could change turns 1 and 2 back, put it back how it was, I don't know. Get your take on this. I think it would be, that'd be like a nice compromise. It'd be a little less sketchy, but maybe there'd still be some action out there.
Yeah, I think the track is worn out a lot. It's a lot grayer, as we can all see. You guys can see watching on TV. It has a lot less grip. We're lifting quite a lot in turns 3 and 4, at least in the Xfinity car. You're lifting a lot out of the gas already. I have got to imagine, like I said, in another few years, it's going to have so much character and be so worn out that you probably could run anywhere on the track. I've never liked them spraying PJ1 down. I don't know how that's going to affect the future of that grip up in that upper level that they've sprayed all that stuff down. I personally have always felt that they should just leave the track surfaces alone and let us race on them. And the fans and everyone have to understand, when they repave a track, it's going to suck the first couple years.
Usually,
it just is. But then you know what? The next 10 years after that, it's going to be pretty phenomenal. I mean, look at Kansas.
Yeah, good
Kansas
point.
is amazing and so much fun to race at from a driver standpoint. And the races have been so awesome to watch the last several years since it started to wear out.
Yeah, so I remember the first couple of Kansas races 10 years ago after the repave were sketchy as hell. They were setting records for cautions then too, like they are at Texas now.
Yeah, so it is. Everyone's so fast and you're so on edge that one little slip up and you're done. You can't pass. It makes it because it's one groove. So it makes it challenging. But man, if you just wait, Kansas is probably one of the best tracks we go to right now. I think so, as far as
I agree.
All of it goes. So yeah, I don't know. I think it would be awesome if Texas was turned into Atlanta. I just like what I was telling you in the last episode, is just because the Atlanta race has been so fun to watch. I think it probably was one of the best Cup races to watch. This last one of the whole season. I think fans like to see the close battles. And I think fans like to see when it's anybody could win,
that's true.
And that's why our biggest races and most watched races are Daytona and Talladega. So, and I think Atlanta is more people are going to be tuning into that one because it's crazy. So I don't know. Should they turn Texas into Atlanta? Yes. Will they? Will they? Probably not. Can they fix turns 1 and 2? I guess they could do some kind of fix half of the track and only have it paved in one half. That might be nuts with character. I mean, they fix spots at Darlington. They've paved old short tracks half the track and not others. Send it. See what that does. We try everything else. Just fix 1 and 2 and don't touch the other half, and let's see what happens.
I do remember being excited when they initially reconfigured Texas in 2017, because for years it was seen as the sister track to Atlanta or even Charlotte, same banking, same configuration, same length, same distance. And so Texas, they tried something different to give it a little bit of character, a little bit of personality. I don't know. It has not worked. I don't know. I'm not sure I can fully commit to Atlanta. Hey, the crowd this weekend for the Cup race tells me that, hey, maybe they don't need to make this a super speedway to attract an audience. That Dallas, Fort Worth, North Texas, Oklahoma market seems hungry for competitive NASCAR racing these days. And I mean, say what you will, fluky wrecks here and there, a little chaos, what have you. The race on Sunday was engaging. There was a lot to talk about. It produced more than its fair share of storylines. So I don't know what they'll do to Texas. It's too big of a facility, too built up of an area to completely abandon. But
There's no way they can completely abandon it. There's no
absolutely
way.
not. Unless I haven't been there in like 2 years actually now, but I know actually that's not true. I was there last year, not to go to a race. Last year, I actually went to Texas to go see their Christmas lights display. I was visiting my girlfriend in Dallas. And so I was like, hey, let's go drive over to Texas Motor Speedway. She'd never seen it. I was like, they got the Christmas lights. And so we went and saw the Christmas lights, but the area around it is very built up now. In many ways, that's good. It attracts a bigger crowd, makes it more accessible for fans. But on the negative is now that land is probably as valuable as it's ever been. So I don't know what SMI's bottom line looks like, if they would even consider tearing that place down and selling it, a la what Auto Club Speedway supposedly is doing. That'd be my only concern. But no, you got to stay at that facility if at all possible. I would just reconfigure 1 and 2 and see what happens. But I don't know. We'll see. You're right.
Yeah.
It may get better.
It's a perfect location. I mean, everything has built up around there. When I first went there as a kid and raced, there was nothing there. But hey, man, there's a Buc-ee's, there's a Whataburger. They got it all.
They got an In-N-Out there in Texas. They've got an In-N-Out burger across the street.
Across the street.
What the heck is going on?
You don't need anything else. It's done, man. They're good.
Yeah.
They can't leave. They just, I think they're doing a fine job. I don't know. I don't think the track surface is that bad. Like you said, it makes so much crazy wrecks because it's so difficult to race on that there's so much chaos that fans also like the chaos. That's why we
sells.
That's why we have street races. That's why we have dirt races. That's why we've done the Roval. Like, it's to create chaos. It's about entertainment. And fans like the drama of the stories and the Kyle Busch wrecking and Kyle Larson wrecking, and now the playoff problems that creates for both those teams. Like, those are, I mean, fans love that stuff. It's drama, man. Remember the tagline from TNT? TNT knows drama, and NASCAR was on there. You know why? Because the drama, man.
The drama. There you go. Exactly right. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit more about just 2024 schedule rumors in general, because as of the week we're recording this, the schedule's still not out. Details have been trickling out here and there, but we still don't know. We don't know everything at this point. Are there any tracks, Brennan, realistically? And I'm going to ask Chase Briscoe when he joins us in a few minutes the same question. Are there any tracks that you would like to see on the schedule next year that are at least realistic?
Okay, realistic. Dang it.
You
cut me off. You took it right out.
I'm sorry. Took it away from me. I'm stifling your creativity. I apologize.
I mean, there's a lot of talks about Montreal, which anytime you get to go to an F1 track, it's cool. Yeah. I know we've raced there before in the past. I never got to. I think like one of my first years in Xfinity was like one of the first years, or maybe it had been 2 years that it had been off the schedule at that point.
They left, probably, yeah.
Yeah, so I missed getting to do that, which would be really cool. Also, I've never been to Canada. I'd love to go there. So, and I just like, I'm an F1 fan. I'm a motorsports fan. A lot of history there. Like to be able to race on that track. I think that would be really cool experience. And I think it's a great experience for all the drivers too. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't know. I mean, I'm very curious to see what the heck we're going to do with the LA date being gone. I mean, I know they still have the Clash situation in LA because that's still, I don't know if I think this is the last year of that, right?
I think it's the last year of the original deal. I think it was a 3-year deal they initially announced.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how that goes, or if we're going to try to fill a date in somewhere in LA other than the Clash. I don't know. I don't even know if it's possible. I think the track's still there. They haven't started tearing anything down. They haven't done nothing. So
I don't know who owns the land technically now, but yeah, it's still there as far as I know. I don't think much has been done to Auto Club Speedway this year.
Yeah. Let's
Run it
Let's go
back.
back.
Why
Run it
not?
back.
This will be like the
Please.
third or fourth year in a row where it's been billed as the final race on the
Yeah. And we
normal
get
auto club.
I I really love that track. I
It's
don't
a good
think
track.
it's a great.
The next gen, I think, breathed new life into that track, especially. I mean, I'm sure it was fun to race as a driver before then, the old worn
Mhm.
out surface, wide sweeping turns, but it wasn't as much fun to watch until the last couple of years.
Yeah, it was always fun for me. I always loved going there, but every year I went back, I felt like the track got better and the
Yeah.
racing got better. And then like last year, it was nuts because we were in a blizzard, and I mean, it wasn't really like a great send off for like such an awesome historic facility. So I don't know. That's probably too much of an ask. I would love to see another street race somewhere else just for my own selfish reasons, although I don't think that's going to happen. But maybe in the future that would be cool at another city, because I think it was very successful in Chicago. I think I personally, I've told you this before, it's probably not realistic for next year, but they did fix North Wilkesboro, and that has opened up a lot of doors for a lot of other tracks. I really want them to fix Pikes Peak. I
Yeah,
think we should go there. I think there's a lot of fans in Colorado and in
for
that whole
sure.
area that have to travel so far because there's no races. If you like look at our map, there's just like a giant block in like the middle of the country where there's nowhere to go. I'm like, if we open Pikes Place. I need a coffee apparently. If we open that track back up, it still has like a big stance, kind of like how Nashville had, just in the middle. Like I hear the track surface is pretty decent. I think it's cool. I mean, I think we
Yeah,
should you fix the track and go back there. I think it would be insane. But
it's an
I
untapped
mean,
market right now for sure. I agree with you there.
I think it would be awesome. But I don't think we're gonna get anything
It
too
sounds like
crazy. I mean, I hear
Montreal is
rumors of
like the sorry, it sounds like Montreal is like the sticking point. I think NASCAR is really
Mhm.
trying to make that happen, but if for some reason it doesn't, scheduled conflicts, you got to work with the city. It's difficult. If that doesn't work out, then yeah, we may not get many, huge, bold new things this time around.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm hearing less road courses. I'm hearing less road courses. Obviously, the Indy Roval's gone.
Yeah.
I think the Charlotte Roval's gone. So there's two
Oh,
races
that'll be
gone.
interesting.
I think they're all going back to the oval. So there's two of them gone. What else is there? I'm hearing there's another road course that we may not be going to. Um,
Is Coda back? I hope Coda stays for another year.
I think Coda is staying, but I'm not 100%
I don't
sure.
think
But
anyone's 100% sure on
I
anything
don't
right
think
now.
I think Coda's staying. I think like Watkins Glen and Sonoma, obviously
They got it, yeah.
they are staying.
Oh,
But
Road
I mean,
America is off. We know Road America won't have any races next year, apparently, which kind of stinks, I think. But
yeah, it's my favorite. It's my
yeah,
favorite track, dude. Even after the repaved, it was so crazy because it was like the slickest track I've ever been on in my life, and
yeah,
I have never been felt so crazy qualifying a car. Like you get 20 minutes of practice, you got to qualify. I remember leaving pit road, downshifting in the first corner, like not even going fast because it's all new paved. So I'm trying to check it out, and literally driving almost straight off the track. I was like, "Holy cow!" They were not kidding about how slick this place was. And I've had that was like one of the most fun races I had of the year. And of course, I love Watkins Glen too. That was also a lot of fun for me. So that's I think Road America. I think everyone should be going there. I think it's one of the best
yeah.
tracks in the country.
Hopefully this is a temporary departure. My one track that I was honestly bummed to see it go, and this is very much a hot topic or a hot take, but Bristol Dirt. I wanted to see a dirt race on the schedule next year. It doesn't have to be Bristol. I would actually probably prefer if it was a place like Eldora. Knoxville scares me a little bit after that truck race a couple of years back. But
Yeah,
I don't know. The cup cars, at least, and the trucks have both proven that they can put on good, compelling dirt shows. I know it's not to the hardcore dirt fan or dirt racer. It probably doesn't look and feel exactly the same, but it looked like a real dirt race, especially this year. 2, 3 grooves, and hey, Christopher Bell, a dirt guy, won that race. Like to me, that's a feather in its cap. That's a feather in NASCAR's cap that the Cup cars were so versatile that they could handle a dirt race as well as they did. I'll be honest. I wish there was, and I hope. I guess there's still a chance. I hope there's a dirt track in the future on the Cup schedule.
I think I think for me, I don't care about the dirt race. I think they're GT3 cars. They have a diffuser for crying out loud. I like
You can take that off. It seems easy enough.
apparently it doesn't do anything if you listen to Justin Haley talk on Dale Jr.'s podcast, they mean nothing. Um, I don't, I don't know. Like, I just don't think the new car, the dirt thing works. I think you could kind of do it in an Xfinity car in a truck because it's like racing a street stock basically.
Yeah.
But even those cars, they're really not designed to be
No, but that's what makes it
on
so
dirt.
fun. Like we talk about how like road courses, at least from a viewer's perspective, road courses the last couple of years have not been as fun because the cars are too good. Like they're built for road courses.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, for the next gen, yeah. But the
yeah.
Xfinity races for
Oh
the
yeah.
fans that only watch cup races should be watching our road course races because holy cow, are they
That I agree
nuts?
with. That's all I'm saying is for Cup, it's like the Xfinity car is arguably the perfect stock car. Like it works
Yeah.
so well or
Mhm.
it works so badly, but in a good way at every type of track, it seems that it produces the best racing consistently. But the Cup car, that's what I'm saying, is the Cup car is best when it's out of its element a little bit. And that's where the dirt, I think, kind of fits in. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But
Maybe it is just you,
it's
Eric.
just me. I'm the dirt guy now. Who would have thought?
I don't know. It is crazy. I mean, less road courses now. Yeah, I guess I understand why they do that for the cup side, but for the Xfinity, I'm like, no, man, more road courses. Like, I
Sure.
hope we're still going to Portland. I love that
Yeah.
track. I lost brakes this year. I'd like redemption if I'm racing Xfinity again full time next year. I want, you know, I loved going to all of these tracks, dude. Like they're so much fun. So I don't know. I can tell you Indy Road is definitely a plus that's going. It's just like not a real road course. It's rough.
Yeah. I've not heard good
And
things from
the
drivers.
oval is so historic. Like if the fans think the race is boring, like, okay, I get it. Let's work on the package. I thought the package we had in the Xfinity car, at least before we went to the road course where we were like pretty slowed down and we are like in big single packs. And like, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty fun to watch. So like, I don't know. I'm hoping we go in that direction since it's going to be an oval again. And I feel like it means more when you win on the oval than it does in the road. And some people might want
That's
to be like,
true.
well, it's still Indy, but I'm like, it's not the
No, it
same.
is. It's
It
definitely
doesn't even feel
different.
the same. Like it was my first time running the Indy road course this year. I had only ran the oval until then, and I can just tell you, like, I'm just like, don't even feel like I'm at Indianapolis.
Hmm.
Don't even feel you don't even feel like you're there.
Interesting.
So I'm excited for that to be back.
For sure.
Just am.
Hopefully
But
we
yeah,
get
we'll
a.
see,
Yeah,
see what
sorry.
happens.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we get some confirmation before too long. I know for me, I just feel like NASCAR's got a lot on their plate. They got a TV deal they're negotiating. They got to extend the charter agreement or renegotiate that. They got to figure out the TV deal or I'm sorry, the schedule for next year. I just feel like they've kind of dragged all these things out as long as they possibly can be dragged out, and now we're sort of
Yeah.
scrambling here at the end of the season. It's a little frustrating. I feel for fans, especially folks in the industry who have to plan their travel around every race. They
Yeah.
travel every week. That's first and foremost.
Sponsors. And you have
Sponsors and
multiple sponsors, and you're
but
like,
even
who's getting what race?
fans
We don't know the
travel from
races.
out of state. They got to plan months in advance their weekends when they can take time off. It's just everything. I know that they've waited until September, even I think October a couple times in the past to release the schedule before, but it shouldn't be the norm. And right now it doesn't even seem like the schedule release is even on the horizon. I keep seeing Bob Pockris push it out more and more weeks. And it's like, dang, if even he doesn't know when it's coming out, then nobody knows when it's coming out. That's concerning. So,
Yeah.
um,
There's got to only be a couple of races blocking it that they just are
I'm sure,
unsure about, and it's got to be close. But
hopefully.
yeah, hopefully we get to know what that is soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Brennan, this has been fun, but I don't know if you've seen on social media the past few days all the Talladega Nights, Stewart-Haas racing with Briscoe and Preece. Ryan Preece absolutely ate that performance in the little video they released. But I think we've got the chance to speak to one of the stars of this Talladega Nights reboot with Chase Briscoe. Should we bring him in?
Bring him in.
We are now joined by Chase Briscoe, or should I say Cal Naughton Jr. Chase, oh my gosh, y'all have gone all out for this promotion. I freaking love it, dude. How you doing?
Yeah, I've been good. I hope you've been good too. It's been a lot of fun, doing all the Talladega Night stuff. I'm a big fan of the movie personally, so I've known about this for a couple months now, and been hard to honestly keep it all in. But it's been a lot of fun to film all the content that we have, and then, truthfully see the fan response. I knew that the fans were going to be into it, but I didn't think it was going to blow up as much as it did. So yeah, I'm super excited for this weekend, just kind of see how much like the actual ad track experience is.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that movie, I mean, it came out like 15, 17, 18 years ago now, but I feel like it still has a hold on like mainstream culture. Like it's still very much
All the time still.
yeah, yeah, it's a staple on like, Freeform or whatever channels there are these days.
All the time.
Yeah. That's awesome. I have to ask, how did you keep a straight face when Ryan Preece was doing like this whole thing in the video? Because I lost it.
Yeah. I was chuckling the first couple times. He practiced a few times, and I got kind of my laughs out early. But yeah, he nailed it. He had perfect form on that part. It was pretty impressive, honestly, how good he was at. I don't know if he cooks or something in real life, but he definitely had it. He had it nailed in for sure.
I just love it when, folks who are obviously not actors like commit to an acting role. And so, yeah, y'all were great. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
So are we going to get like, are there any extra special team orders this weekend to like stick together just so you guys can at least get that photo, or TV gets the second on TV to like mention you two, shaking and baking?
Yeah, no specific team orders, but it is funny. Our cars obviously have been extremely fast at the super speedways. So, I think at Daytona at one point we were running first, second, third, and fifth. So, we were on the pole. I think Eric qualified third. So there's a real possibility that we're all up front. And I was joking with Ryan earlier today. I was like, man, there's a real possibility like me and you both qualify on the front row together, and like
Hey.
what a story that would be. So yeah, it'd be pretty cool to see Ricky Bobby and Cal Knott Jr. lead the field of green in an actual cup race at Talladega.
Yeah, it's just awesome. Y'all got the paint schemes, the sponsors, everyone's on board. It's pretty cool to see something like that fully come together. Well, Chase, I do want to talk a little bit of I guess real racing. I guess we're talking about real racing, but stuff that's already happened, I suppose. Third year in the Cup Series. I guess I first want to just ask you, where do you feel you've improved or evolved the most as a race car driver these first few years?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, coming into the Cup Series, everybody says you're never ready, and that's the truth. That leap from, the truck garage and the Xfinity garage, there's not a huge difference when you go over to the Xfinity side, but that leap from, the Xfinity garage to the Cup garage, it's like swimming in the 3-foot pool to jumping into the ocean. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Every single person is really, really good. You think every single driver in the field has won at every single level they've ever been in. They really are the best. And just from a competition side, I've never had to run so hard to literally run 22nd, for example. Just it's so tense the whole time. And, you're running 500-mile races, 400-mile races. I mean, even the Coke 600, you run 600 miles of qualifying laps. I mean, there's no really give and take anymore like there used to be. You don't have to kind of nurse your car to the end. You just literally run as hard as you can every single lap because track position is so important. So, all those things were a lot to learn. And even just the racecraft, how good guys are at where they put their car and taking your airway and things like that were just things that, in the Xfinity series, I was just really naive to, truthfully. When those guys would come and race, you just didn't learn all the tricks because you're only racing one guy, and then you all of a sudden start racing 35 of them, and they're all just incredible race car drivers. So I think for me, the biggest thing I learned is just, you're not always going to have a race winning car, especially on the Cup side. The Xfinity side, you could take a 10th place car, and sometimes you could honestly win with it or run second or third with it if you did everything right. Where on the Cup side, it just takes time to realize that, hey, if you have a 10th place car that day, just try to truthfully run 8th with it. And if you can run 8th, that's a really good day, just because you're not going to take a 10th place car and win in the Cup Series. And that's something that, especially I would say at the first half of last season, I really struggled with. There's a couple of races where I crashed out where I was just pushing too hard. And that's something I feel like I've tried to do a lot better at, is just taking kind of what it'll give me. And, truthfully, last year, our playoff run, I felt like was a lot of that. Like if we had a 12th place car, I would try to run 10th with it. If we had a 15th place car that day, just try to run 13th with it instead of crashing out or running 25th or whatever it is. And I feel like the results have came a lot easier. At least through last year's playoffs. This year, the results haven't came easy at all. So it's been a struggle for sure. But yeah, just how much it goes into the Cup Series and getting those results, I think, is the biggest thing I've learned in these first 3 years, and just mistakes. Like I said, the Xfinity side, you can speed on pit road, things like that, and you're going to drive right back through the field. But in the Cup Series, unless you're one or two guys on that given weekend, you're normally not going to be able to make a mistake.
Yeah, you mentioned last year's playoffs. I feel like you had a patent almost on getting the most out of a day. I lost count of how many times you guys snuck up into the top 5, top 10 out of nowhere in the closing laps. But you did mention this season it has been, I know, a challenge. You are fresh off a top 10 at Texas, so that was great to see. So how would you grade or judge your team's overall performance this year?
Yeah, it's been weird. I've never in my career had a season where, you either run top 5, top 10 battling for the win, or you 30th or worse. Like, we have been nowhere in between. Like, we don't have those 15th place days. It seems like we literally are in the top 10 or we're 31st. So that's been a challenge. But for us, when we've been good, I feel like we've been really good. But when we've been bad, we've been really bad. So I'm just trying to kind of figure out the highs and the lows and try to just be more consistent week in and week out. And, for us, we started the season, we had, not so great runs, but then we got on a streak there 3 weeks in a row where we ran the top 5 and we're leading a lot of laps. And then we went like 4 months with not even a top 10. So, for us, a couple months ago, we changed crew chiefs, and that was a huge, thing to do in the middle of the season. My new crew chief, Richard Boswell, essentially was coming in, 50 something weeks behind what all these other, next gen crew chiefs have been able to learn and know about the car. And I feel like just now, these last 3 weeks, we've finally been having speed. We've been way faster, unloading in practice. We haven't been able to qualify, but our racing and the actual race itself, our car's been really good. This past weekend, I felt like we were a top 3 car and we got damaged with, the second to last restart and kind of killed our day, and we ran 10th. So, for us to be disappointed with a 10th place with how our season's gone, I think shows the level of how much we've been improving. We just haven't been able to show our improvement because we haven't been able to execute, like I was saying earlier. So once we put all the pieces together, I feel like we're going to be in a really good place. Looking back on it, I'm glad we kind of made the switch when we did, just because I think it's going to give us a great opportunity now going into next season to kind of hopefully start the season where we need to be. We're not going to be starting behind and going through this kind of 2-3 month building process because we got it out of the way this year.
That's a great point. And, in this case, you and Richard Boswell, you guys have had success together back in the Xfinity series. Does that familiarity, make that building process easier between you two?
I think yes and no. I think we both are confident in each other. We both know what we're capable of. But at the same time, it is hard because I feel like we both expected to win right off the bat, just because in the Xfinity series, we were able to have so much success. And, that's the one thing I think that was hard for Richard, truthfully, was just, I kind of had to drill into his head those first 4 or 5 weeks of how hard Cup racing is. He didn't understand, well, why were we running 10th this run? And then we go to the back and we can't get back up there. And I'm like, look, that's just how hard Cup racing is. And I think he's understood that finally now, but I think it's good and bad, for us to come together, just because we do hold ourselves at such a high standard. That's the one thing I think is hard when it is the Cup series, and just how the results are going to come. You're going to have really good weeks, you're going to have really bad weeks, and just trying to figure out how to manage those. And, Richard is extremely competitive. So trying to, keep him kind of calm down on those bad weeks, but then also appreciate the good weeks has been kind of the biggest, I feel like, challenge for us. But from a car standpoint, he's done an incredible job. I just told him this past weekend, that's the closest car I've ever had in this next gen era to what we used to have in an Xfinity car as far as how it drove. And I felt like our results showed that. So I feel like we're in a really good spot right now. And I really do feel like we're going to be running up front a lot more these last 6-7 weeks. And like I said, hopefully next year we can really start off strong.
That's great. And we hear about, with the next gen, teams are put in a much tighter box as to what they can do, what they can really affect on the cars. So hasn't just been the 14, but all of Stewart-Haas racing people, I think, have noticed have not run as well this year as they have in years past. So what is it like? What overall, or where does Stewart-Haas need to improve specifically? Is it all just simulator stuff, you think, or is there anything else that you guys can do to find consistent speed again?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit everywhere, right? It's not just all going to come in one area. There's all kinds of different areas where you can find a little bit. And if you just find a little bit in everywhere, well, then it all adds up. And, I think at the beginning of the year, truthfully, we were quick to point the finger and talk about, how Ford's just struggle in general, but, truthfully, RFK front row, they figured it out. So, once we quit pointing the finger and was like, hey, we just need to get to work, I feel like our results have improved a lot over the last month or two. And, I think the biggest thing for us is just, like you were saying, trying to become more consistent. We go some weeks and all four of us are extremely fast. That like the first race at Martinsville this year, we were all four like unbelievable. And then we go to a mile and only one of us is good. And that's the one thing I think for us as a company is, we always have like that 1.5 car or 1 or 2 cars that run up front, but then the other 2 are in the back, and just trying to become more consistent across kind of all of playing fields. And that's one thing I think these last 2 or 3 weeks, at least like inside the company, we feel like all 4 cars have been way faster and way closer to each other. And I feel like that just comes from us as an organization being more open between each other and really understanding like, hey, we are struggling right now. And, the whole thing in the past where kind of all 4 cars kind of worked independently, like that just doesn't work anymore in the next gen era with how everything is so tight, like you were saying, of a box that you're in. So I feel like the more we've opened up as a company to each other and, just tried to figure out, hey, look, like we're not in the playoffs. We're obviously behind. We need to all 4 work together and just try to go to the racetrack and learn as much as we can. I feel like that's when we've really seen a difference. And like I said, this past weekend, I thought, really all 4 of our cars were pretty fast for a 1.5 mile standpoint. So hopefully we can just continue to do that these next 6-7 weeks.
Yeah, it's been good to see that progress. My last few questions are kind of 2024 focused. Has there been, do you think there's any extra like pressure on yourself, even though you are, I guess, the youngest driver on the team and still probably will be potentially going into next year? Is there any pressure to take on like a greater leadership role now that you got Kevin Harvick stepping away and a new driver taking his place?
Yeah, I think for sure. I'm the youngest by age, but I'm the oldest when it comes to how long I've been here.
Yeah.
I've been with the company since 2018. I'll be in the Cup side since 2021. So, it's weird, truthfully, to think about. For me, I came into a really good spot where, I was learning under Kevin Harvick, who's obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer, literally has the answer to every question you could ever ask. And then also you have Eric Almirola, who's been there for 15 years in the Cup Series. And same thing, I bounce a ton of stuff off of him. And, I've had these 2 guys that were always like I said, they had the answer to every question I could ever ask. Then I also always had, Cole Custer, who was similar in age with me, both very low experience that we could bounce things off of. And it's going to be weird now not having that guy I can call and go to. And I think, these last 2-3 years, I've seen how Kevin has obviously led the company and taken charge and kind of that leadership role. And that's something that, I don't think you like raise your hand and say, hey, I'm going to be the leader. I think it comes down to the results on the racetrack. And, there's a reason that Kevin's been the leader of this place, and it's because he's ran the best every single week. And that's kind of what I'm striving to be, is I want to be that lead car. When people think of Stewart-Haas racing, they think of the 14 car and how they're always kind of the class of the field. So I think we're fully capable of doing that. We did that, I would say 50% of the season last year. I felt like it was always me or Kevin kind of leading the ship in a sense. So now with Kevin gone, it obviously is going to take me stepping up and performing at a way higher level. But that's something I'm excited for and ready for the challenge. Just a matter of trying to execute that.
What was your reaction when Josh Berry was announced as the next driver of the 4?
Yeah, I was happy for Josh. I feel like Josh is very similar to me. Like if you look at how we grew up, and we don't come from money or anything. So the fact that it kind of just another hardworking guy that was just kind of got here without money. I like that kind of stuff. So I think it's going to be really good. I've said time and time again, like you can't replace Kevin Harvick. Like it's literally impossible to replace him. But I do think that, Kevin did have a lot of say in kind of who to look to try to replace him. And Rodney is super high on Josh Berry. They have the same background. Josh does have a little bit of, I feel like, that Kevin Harvick same style in him. And just honestly seeing how excited Rodney is to work with Josh and just that late model background, I think they're going to be really good together. So yeah, I'm excited for Josh to come on board. it'll be fun to work with a new guy. I feel like I've been working with new teammates like the last 3 years now. So it'll be fun to add another one to the list. I know Josh a little bit, but I haven't worked with him a whole lot. So looking forward to getting to know him better and obviously work with him. I think he'll bring a lot to the table.
Chase, my last question for you is still 2024 related, but lately we've seen all these rumors and fans throwing out their own theories, things swirling about the schedule. What is one track, a realistic track, that you would like to see on next year's schedule?
Yeah, for mine, that would be easy. It'd be Iowa Speedway. That's by far my favorite racetrack.
Nice.
From a pavement standpoint. The other one I would love to do is Eldora. I don't know how realistic that is, but I would love for Eldora and Iowa. I think those are both, realistic places in a sense. We've raced both of those in national series. So, for me, I think we have to have a dirt race. I'm probably on the small side of that scale. But to me, growing up, all the drivers in the field are either dirt guys, the road course guys, or the short track guys. And as the best drivers, we are challenged at every single discipline. We have super speedways, mile and a half, short tracks. We have road courses. So why would we not have a dirt track too? I don't think we
my
need
language.
Yeah, I definitely don't think we need more than one, but I do think we need at least one. And plus, I just think it's good for motorsports in general to have that crossover. I think you've seen NASCAR honestly grow the more they've embraced the dirt stuff, and obviously the dirt stuff has embraced the NASCAR guys coming back down more. So I think we need to have a dirt race. I think Eldora is the perfect racetrack for it, and then Iowa Speedway I think would be a phenomenal racetrack, especially for the next gen cars. So I'm all for that. I think we need to do it the week of the Knoxville Nationals on Sunday. You have the Knoxville Nationals Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the Cup race on Sunday.
There you go. All right. Now you've got like a plan outlined for that. That's not bad. I like it. Iowa and I guess Ohio, two states that there's no Cup race in Ohio right now at all. So
Ohio is all you got.
Yeah. So absolutely. Those are two, I think, gaps on the calendar that absolutely should be filled in. And I'm with you on dirt track. How did you feel about Bristol Dirt being, dropped from the schedule?
Yeah, I was bummed. Obviously I've been in contention to win that race the last 2 years. So, just like I said, I want to have a dirt race. Obviously, selfishly, I think I can go there and win, but I do think it's good for the sport, and I feel like it's only fair. But I was bummed to see Bristol leave. Truthfully, I thought the Bristol race the last 2 years has been one of the best races on the schedule. You go back and watch like the end of stage 2 this year's Bristol race. I mean, the top 5, we were literally sliding each other every lap, every corner. It was unbelievable from my seat. So I don't know if the concrete or the pavement or whatever it is without dirt there has put on that good of a race as the dirt race has. So I don't know. I definitely want to have a dirt race, but I was bummed to see it leave Bristol. But like I said, I think it needs to be an actual dirt track. But if we're going to do it somewhere that they're going to throw dirt on, I don't think Bristol's a bad idea.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you there. I love having a dirt track. Would prefer a purpose-built dirt track because I love traditional Bristol. Even with the next gen, I love it. Oh my goodness, it's a cougar in the cougar in the Zoom call. That's awesome. I lost my train of thought right there, but I think that about wraps it up. We'll find out, I guess, the 2024 schedule eventually. We're all on our toes. But Chase, we really appreciate you joining us on Power Hour. Shake and bake this weekend. Car looks great. I love the redesigned Stewart-Haas logo behind you. You guys are doing it great. So.
Yeah, we're all in for sure.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Once again, a huge thank you to Chase Briscoe, Stewart-Haas Racing. Even Ryan Preece snuck in there with a little cameo. Before we get to the fan question segment, Brennan, I want to give another shout out to CircleBDiecast.com. Again, use code OOTG at CircleBDiecast.com to get free shipping on orders over $30. And I have to imagine if they're not out there already, they will be soon. The Talladega Nights paint schemes or diecast for both Preece and Briscoe. I'm sure those will be available at some point. Consider checking them out on CircleBDiecast.com. Brennan, I picked out a couple of users who submitted a couple of very interesting, I think very loaded fan questions on our most recent episode. This one, I think, really can only be answered by you. I think it's directly addressing you. It's from Mid-South Cup Series. And they asked, what is it like in the life of a racer, being away from home so frequently, negotiating deals with teams and sponsors, making friends on track, interacting with the fans, and getting good results? Basically, I think, Brennan, what Mid-South Cup Series is asking is, what is it like to be a freaking race car driver? Explain it to us non-drivers.
Yeah, well, it's very challenging. It's very, very hard. But you love it so much that it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even feel like it's as hard as it actually is, right? I mean, I think sometimes I look back on the things that I've done so far to this point in my career and the things that I'm still trying to do and trying to accomplish, and I think how difficult it is. But in those moments when you're having to do the things that you need to do, it just doesn't matter. It's just like this the best thing in the world. And when you strap down in the race car for the weekend, and you pull out on the track for the first time, nothing you had to do to get to that moment even feels like it was anything, right? It's everything changes the second you get to strap into that car. So yeah, it's difficult being away from home. I just got back today to film this episode with Eric. And I have been gone since last Thursday. I've been away from home for almost a week through the entire Texas weekend. And then I went and I got to do my acting debut, kind of. I've done some other stuff, but
Yeah, what was it? I saw that on your, I think it was on your Instagram. I saw a picture.
Yeah.
You were acting?
Yeah, I'm acting in a pilot that was being filmed in Bayfield, Wisconsin. It's Bayfield is the name of the show, and I got to do it with my good buddy Daryl Mott, and a bunch of other friends. Brock was there, new people that I'd met. That was really cool. I love movies. Many of my fans and followers know how passionate I am about film. So this was a little bit of a dream, like
That's
getting
cool.
to actually play a real character and not like play myself in some show or anything like that. That's some fun stuff that I've done. But this was a real character with real lines, and yeah, it was really, really, really neat. So you get opportunities to do other stuff, and you got to do that around this racing schedule and stuff like that too. And it's pretty challenging. It's hard, but I've got a good support system. Lindsay's been with me for a really long time. She's always supported me, always had my back. My dad, my cousin Joe, my sister, all continuing to motivate you on those days when they're difficult. So I've got good family members, good people around me. I got a lot of faith. That's helped. But as a race car driver, it's not just about driving the car. I've got to be a salesman. I've got to work with sponsors. I got to help my other supporters and people work. Whether it's business to business deals at the track, I got to talk to other team owners. I'm trying to find a seat right now. Like, you're working all that stuff as well as having the pressures of needing to execute every single time you get in the race car and get the results. And it is difficult. I think it's one of the most difficult things to do is to stay focused mentally for an entire, NASCAR season. So many races,
rigorous,
so long.
yeah.
And you got all this other stuff you got to keep in the air at the same time to make it work. It's crazy difficult.
Yeah, I think it's a 7-day-a-week job from what I can tell in many cases. Like there's something every day at the very least that's pulling at you that you got to work on, even if you're not on track or in the sim or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I'm in the simulator tomorrow, and I just got home. It never stops.
Nope.
It's not like I'm dating Taylor Swift or anything like Travis Kelce. I don't have to have security outside of the suite protecting everybody or anything like that.
So you saw that too. I was wondering, my whole feed on social media, TikTok, whatever, has just been Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce. I don't know how that happens.
I don't know. I'm getting worn out by the Swifties, just making TikToks and Instagram, and Barstool's talking about it and ESPN's talking about it. I'm like, oh man.
One of my favorite clips, I think it was Jeff Burton shared this a few months back. It was like way back when in the Country Music Awards 15 years ago, like Jeff Burton and Taylor Swift were on stage together, like introducing a category. And looking back at it now, knowing just how massive Taylor Swift is in the culture, to see her on stage with Jeff Burton. It's just
funny.
It's
awesome
duo.
though.
It is.
Everyone who's a NASCAR fan knows who Jeff Burton is though.
That's
and
true.
Everyone who's like into music knows Taylor Swift. Same.
I remember having a
Same.
substitute teacher one day in middle school, and I wore my Matt Kenseth Daytona 500 champion t-shirt into class, and she stopped me, pulled me aside. I thought I was in trouble. And no, she just wanted to explain to me that she liked my shirt. wanted to confirm that I was a true fan, not some bandwagoner. And she went on about how she was the biggest Jeff Burton fan in her neighborhood or something like that. And I thought, wow, all right, a Jeff Burton fan in the flesh. There we go. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Random aside, but that was a good answer, Brian. And you kept that about as like, I don't know, you explained what it's like to be a race car driver as detailed, but also as efficiently as I think you possibly could. Just like, it was a good response to what was a very big question. We have a couple other questions from a different user. Alicia on our last episode asked a few questions. I'm going to hit us with them rapid fire here. Brennan, first one is cats or dogs?
I mean, I've got both, right? So it's hard.
Dang.
Turbo. He's a Belgian Malinois. He's with my dad now. He's an old man. He's 13 years old. He needs a lot of attention and a lot of medication, but he's doing fine. And I love him to death. And I also have a cat named Seek. She is crazy and meows a lot. Even though she has plenty of food, she gets treats, she gets it all. We play with her. I think she just doesn't like it when we leave, like most cats. And we leave a lot because I'm racing, but she's got some friends. We got some people come over and check on her if we're gone for too long. But yeah, love them to death. A big animal guy.
I'm more of a dog person, I have to say. But cats are nice. You strike me as more of a cat person, Brennan. Like, I feel like dogs are so energetic and crazy. You strike me as very laid back and just kind of chill. I feel like that vibes with the cat more.
Listen, the cat loves me. The cat is probably the only animal that's loved me as much as any other animal is this cat that we have. So she literally sleeps on my chest every night.
Aww.
So and she makes me 1,000,000 degrees, especially in the summertime. I'm like, can you please, do you have to be this close to me? You don't. Go over there.
They just don't understand.
Yeah. No, they just want to sweat it out with you, I guess. But yeah, so no, I mean, I love my dog, love the cat, but it is what it is. It's because I wear all black. That's why you think I'm a cat man, huh?
No, you just got that laid back, kind of just very, very chill, mellow vibe. I never feel like I see you two up or two down. You're just kind of on to the next thing.
That's just getting older. Okay. You just know, I'm just learning the way, this is the way you must stay just calm the whole time. And then you'll solve the problems and you'll get through, you'll get through all of it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Alicia asked another question, pancakes or waffles?
Yeah, this is a crazy, interesting question. And I have a wild answer to this.
It's not how deep can it be?
No. So hear me out. Pancakes in warm weather times, waffles in cold weather times. And here's why. A waffle is a heavier item to me than a pancake. Like a pancake's a little lighter, a little fluffier. So it's hot out. You go the pancake route. Now, if it's wintertime, it's cold outside. Picture this, you got a big jacket on, you know what I mean? I don't know where you get your waffles, but I imagine in my head that mine, there's a fireplace ripping, and you've got a nice Belgian waffle with the the big squares, and you got the butter and you're filling it up, and it's who knows, is Santa gonna walk by? He could at any moment.
I never considered pancakes.
Perfect.
I never considered pancakes and waffles being seasonal like that.
It's seasonal for me.
It's hard to pick. I go waffles, like you said, though. They have to have the big squares. They can't be those little, I don't know, even like an Eggo waffle, a frozen waffle. Sometimes they're a little too small, and I know it needs to be a thick, fluffy waffle with those little compartments all over it to hold my syrup, my butter, everything else I want to put on it. I'll lean waffles, but it's a tough one.
And there's got to be a Christmas tree in the corner with lights.
See, I don't know that waffles are as Christmassy as you're making them out to be. I'll be honest.
No, man, you feeling it? It's not like I'm putting some chicken in the waffles with some slaw, and I'm at Disney World eating like a chicken slaw waffle thing. And even though it's a thin waffle, you know what I mean? It's a different vibe. It's they're trying to get in on the pancake route, and you can't do it. I'm telling you, it's seasonal. Think about it. Think more about it.
All right.
It'll rub off on you.
We're going to have chicken and waffles at my next Christmas dinner, and we'll just see if the magic hits. Last question from Alicia, and this one is a little more racing focused. I think this is more aimed at you, but She asks, what is it like knowing that random people you don't know cheer for you?
Yeah. That's an interesting question to ask, and it's definitely something I haven't really thought that much about because, as a driver, like I don't, I just try to do the best possible job I can and drive the race car. And sometimes you forget that there are people that want you to do well, that want to see you have that victory. And you get so locked in on just like trying to make everybody in your team and your organization get the most out of them and run the race car that sometimes I forget about that side of things. And I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing to say. I think I just view myself as like a normal person, just trying to do something I really love to do. And I think it's a great feeling to know that you have fans. That's what's really cool about going to Texas, because I do have a little bit more of a following there because I'm a Texan. So, and, getting the big cheer and all that kind of stuff is fun. And, I don't, know all those people, obviously, of course, but having that support means a lot. But I can't honestly say that I've like thought about like there are people out there cheering for me that I don't know. That now that you've said something, I will probably think about that a little bit more. But yeah, I think it's cool. I'm really grateful to have the fans and some of the support that I do have. It means a lot. Like everybody wants to have people on their side and people pulling for them. And anytime I sign a card or sign a baseball card that someone has, or see someone has a hero card from when I raced the late models, which is true. Like people come to me and have hero cards from like 15 years ago. Those are really, they're just like cool, special moments, so I appreciate
Yeah.
all of them.
I think about, when I was purely just a fan, not all that long ago, I thought about a video I uploaded on my YouTube channel, probably more than 10 years ago now. I was probably 14, 15 years old. I posted a video where I took a life-size Matt Kenseth cardboard cutout out in public and just sort of filmed some just random BS with it. But I just remember thinking, not that long later, a few years later, that I was like, damn, what if Matt Kenseth saw that? What would he think? What would any driver think if they saw something like that? Like, if I just think that would be weird. That is weird. Fans of any star, athlete, performer, whatever the case may be, fans are a little weird. I mean, that's the fan is short for fanatic. I mean, I think that kind of support is to be expected, and it's a beautiful thing in many ways. That so many fans embrace their fanaticism. I can't speak to I don't get cheered. It is still surreal to me anytime I meet people in person that watch my show or that have something nice to say about videos I've created. That always blows my mind. I love making that face-to-face connection with people. You can only make so much of a personal connection over the internet, like the way we do. And you're speaking to, when you're in mass media and get lots of comments, lots of tweets. Like, you can't reply to everyone. You can't, interact directly with every single person. But when you get to see someone in person at the track or wherever, I always try to relish those moments in that time, because growing up, that's all I ever wanted was more friends, people my age, people in my day-to-day life to talk racing with. Like, you can go out, I could go to the grocery store right now and probably strike up a conversation with a stranger about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. But I've never been able to do that about NASCAR. So I always relish those opportunities, and it blows my mind that there are people out there that I've never met that enjoy videos, enjoy things I've created, and are excited or enthusiastic to chat with me about racing at the racetrack or wherever we may meet in person. I meet people in random places sometimes. I had someone who was my waiter once, just a couple miles from my house a couple of years ago, watched my videos. I was out at dinner with my family, and that was, that was kind of cool. That was a neat experience, a neat connection to make. So those are great questions, though. Appreciate them from Mid-South Cup Series. And Alicia, if you want either me or Brennan to answer one of your questions, leave a comment underneath the YouTube version of this show. Or if you have Twitter/X, you can tweet your questions at us as well. There's a great chance we will answer it in our next episode of Power Hour. Brennan, I think we've done it. I think we've even gone over an hour. This was more powerful than most weeks.
Yeah, I like it when I get to say Power Hour in 6 minutes. that's I love it when we get there, man. I love to do it. Love
just
to
in
hit 'em
time
with
too,
it.
because I think I've lost my voice. I don't know what just happened.
Oh my gosh.
This is
Aaron,
what
you told
happens
the
when
story.
we go
You
over
got
an
choked
hour.
up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You're not going to be good for everyone's going to panic when they don't see the next Out of the Groove episode that's going to needs to be uploaded in a couple of days.
This will be the last one then. This one better be worth it. This is for all the money. This is the finale.
Eric, I'm done. I'm out.
Oh gosh, I have a tear rolling down my eye. Oh my goodness, what
man,
happened?
that's
back
the
there?
worst.
I'm out of water.
Go.
This is a disaster.
Oh my God. I mean, we have to just end it right there. You got to hit him with the one more time, though. You got to hit him with the code. Thank you, Circle B.
Thank
we
you,
love
Circle
you guys.
B. Diecast, CircleBDiecast.com. Use code OOTG for free shipping on orders over $30. Thank you again to Chase Briscoe for playing along with us earlier. Brennan, always great to have you on the show. We will be back next month. It's the end of September, so we'll see you guys in spooky season. October is around the corner.
Yeah.
But that's going to do it. Thank you all for listening to this episode of Power Hour.